This is part 2 of the Abomination of Desolation. I have pinned the first part in the comment section below. Welcome to the Divine Platform. All I do here is for the edification of the Most High and for the restoration of His kingdom. And yes, I can do all these things through Christ, which strengthens me. And may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable unto God. So what I present here is based on a series of 4 quick dreams I had on September the 25th of this year. Please pay attention to the symbolism. I believe that others will be able to corroborate these dreams based on the symbolism in here. Okay. So welcome back to the Divine Platform. I know I've been gone for a while and I have so much information, but I also have so much going on. I can't get it out. But I'm compelled to release this dream because I think this man is about to somehow appear on the stage. His predecessor has set the stage and he's about to get public. So I will start with the second scene in the dream. So it was one dream with 4 scenes, and I'll start with the second scene in the dream. And I describe it, I've titled all the scenes with different titles based on how I saw them, you know. So this scene number 2 I describe as a witchcraft ritual, and you will see why. And we know that Satan runs on witchcraft. So in this scene, it occurs in a townhouse, a modern townhouse. The interior color is white and some light gray trim. It's a very well lit house. And actually it reminds me of a place I used to stay in. It kind of looks like that. I am unable to pin the location, that is the city or state or country, but it is clearly in the Western world. So I walk into this townhouse and I walk right up a stairway, and as I land on the floor, there's 2 rooms. They're 2 long rooms, like living rooms, but they're quite long. So it's the kind you find in a house, not a townhouse, because townhouses are generally smaller than single family homes. So there's 2 rooms. They look like meeting or conference rooms, but this is in a townhouse. So I walk through the first room into the second room. The first room has just a conference table, and as I walk through it, there's nobody in that room. When I get into the second room, there's a long conference table and it is absolutely packed with people. Along the wall, there are people also sitting. They're not. So the conference table is packed with people, packed. And then extra people are sitting along the wall. So it is very clear to me that there's a witchcraft operation going on at this table. It's like a seance that's happening. There's men, there's women, and I recognize that some of the women are witches from a particular specific community in Kenya, which I will not name. But we all know that the governments are run by the clan and the coven. It doesn't matter where in the world. There's 2, the clan and the coven. But anyway, I know these specific witches because I've been shown the same witches maybe 2-3 years ago. But they're not the same women, but they're from the same community. There are other people in that room as well, and they're black, white, you know, it's just not only people from Kenya, there's people from abroad, from America, they're just people from everywhere. They're in that room. I do not recognize any of them. There are other people who are also just working, like they're serving the people, like, you know how you can be serving drinks or taking paperwork and moving back and forth. They're not part of the ritual that's going on, but they're just working there. And the people who are sitting by the wall are just observing what is happening, and some have no idea what is going on. Maybe a few know, but it's clear that those who are sitting by the wall do not know what's happening. And it seems to me that those people are there to observe. It's almost like God is trying to reveal something to them. And this might be when people wake up from a dream and they describe it, but they still don't know what's going on. But it seems to me that God is trying to reveal something to them. Okay, so remember, I'm in the second room. I went through the first room into the second room where this seance is going on. Suddenly, the Abomination of Desolation, that's number 44, appears in the first room. And he is dressed in a black, that long tail tuxedo with a bow and tie, with a bow tie and a white shirt, just like what I have on the screen here. He is standing at one end of the table and addressing whoever is seated at the table in that first room. He's very happy. He's reading from a paper or some document that seems to have been prepared for this occasion. I'm not able to see what is written on this document because what's happening, I am in the second room, but I'm able to see what's going on in the first room. And remember, when I went through that room, there was no people and no furniture, just a table, really. But now on this table, other than number 44, there's other presences. I can't describe them as people because it's not people, but there's other entities sitting at the end of the table. I never get to see them, but I know there's 3 presences or entities at the other end of the table. They're not human beings. I just know that they're there and he's addressing them. And then I realize that he is accepting his end time role. He's announcing his arrival. It's man, how can I describe it? It's almost like well, he's accepting something and he's announcing something. It's formal. So I talk to some people in the second room that I'm in, and I tell them that's him. And they look at me like, what are you talking about? So I say, no, that's him, that's it. Meaning that's him, that's Satan. That's the guy who's going to be Satan. And then some people get it. Maybe one person, one of the servers who's walking around the table gets it, but he just like didn't want even to think. He kind of doesn't want even to he blocks his mind. Like he doesn't want, like, don't, that's stuff you don't talk about. That's the impression I get from him. Anyway, so at this, when this number 44 is making the announcement or talking to these entities in that room, the witches in this second room where I am are so deep in the ritual they're engaged in. They're delirious, they're bent over, they're engrossed in whatever ritual they're doing. So him accepting and them being deep in the ritual, it occurs simultaneously. They're completely immersed in this ritual. They're not even spiritually present in the room at that time. Anyway, so number 44 is formally commissioned and granted power. He is authorized and commanded to act, obviously, in a specified manner. It's clear to me that this is his appointment at which he is specifically charged. He accepts this assignment like talking to those entities present at the table. Okay, in this dream, I do not sense his so-called wife anywhere, but it's possible that she's in this second room where there's a lot of people. There's so many people that I can't even get to see all of them. Remember, it's just like a normal room, but there's just so many people I cannot even get to see everybody. Anyway, and in this dream, the symbolism obviously is the tuxedo, the townhouse, and other people who are present but are not aware that this ritual is happening. Okay, then quickly, there's a scene, a third scene I'm going to describe here. After witnessing this ritual where this entity, I'm just going to say number 4 is an entity, he accepts this commission, I go downstairs, and the stairs from the house lead directly to like a parking garage, the kind you'd have in for an office or for these apartments you find in cities, you know. So it looks like a commercial garage, parking garage. So as soon as I get downstairs, I run into a lady that I know in real life. Okay, she's there. She has a van, and she is delivering children to this location. One of the children is so tiny and young, but she's able to walk upstairs. She goes up the stairs and she's able to go up, not using the railing for support, without using the railing for support. So, and kids are able to do that at around 4 years, and she's tiny, she's Asian, but she's the oldest of the bunch. Because the other children are much younger, they can barely stand on their own. They can walk, but they need help to move, even to go up the stairs. And there's about 5 to 7 children in total, and they look kind of wrapped up and lost. These children were holed up in a van, the back of a van that looks like what I have on the picture here. It clearly looks like a human trafficking operation. This lady, whom I know in real life, is here to drop the children and then leave. She is in a hurry to leave. So, okay, the first child, like I said, the oldest, who's about 4 years old, went up the stairs into the house. And the others, they need help. Okay, and that scene ends. That's what is the symbolism here? Is an Asian woman who's from the Philippines. There's a white van. There's those children. One child is Asian, but the other children are African American or African. I mean, they're not African. They're African American. It's clear. It's important for me to make that distinction. That's the feeling I get in my dream. Okay. Now, this was actually the first scene, but I'm putting it up. I'm describing it third. In this scene, I am walking in a garden with food plants. This garden, it's a partitioned garden, the kind of gardens you find in cities or in the suburbs. It's not like you know how they are. They're partitioned, they're allocated because different people, you know. So that is the kind of garden it is. There is someone, there's a presence, there's an entity that's walking beside me. But this entity is obscure. I know it's not a human being, but I cannot tell what it is. But this entity mentally intonates to me to pick up some cayenne pepper. And I did want some cayenne pepper. But it's kind of cajoling me to pick up from a particular, this is so crazy, from a particular section to pick up this cayenne pepper. And I almost do it, but I changed my mind and decide to take it from elsewhere. Because I'm aware that this garden, there's more plants to my right. So in my mind, I'm thinking I have to, and I'm like that in real life. I'm thinking I have to see everything else first before I decide. That is how I am in real life. Like I will go through everything first before I decide. I eventually do not remember taking anything. I don't think I take any. This creature just disappears. I never get to see it, but it's a presence. It's a dark presence. It's clear to me that this is a simulation of the Garden of Eden. And this obscure creature is enticing me to pick something from this garden. Okay, that it ends that way. I never pick up anything and this scene ends. What's the symbolism here? It's a garden. It's a community garden, which is found, the kind found mostly in the suburbs and sometimes in the cities in the Western world. And that cayenne pepper. Okay. Now, scene 4. This is the final scene in the sequence. Somehow I'm going downstairs again, and there is a second floor. Initially, there was no other floor other than the one with the 2 conference-like rooms. But this time it seems like there's another floor in between that top floor and the ground floor, or what the Americans would call the first floor. So it's like there's 3 floors. The ground, and this floor now, and then the top floor where that ritual was going on. Okay, I get here and there's several shoes, and there's a lady in this room washing the shoes. I don't know who that lady is. I can't quite remember even her race, but she's either mixed or Hispanic or Asian. She's one of those, or Mediterranean, but she's one of those. So I kind of walk to the sink where she's washing the shoes, and I kind of help her. But as I get this shoe, I wash it, the water is dirty. It comes out red. Either it's red dust or blood. But then I realized that the shoe that I'm washing is a new shoe, so why is it dirty? The shoe is a blue Converse high top, like what I have on the screen here, with the number 88 written on it. Okay, that dream ends like that. So the symbolism here is that blue high top Converse with the number 88, dirty water, red. It's like either red dust water or blood. I cannot tell, but it's a brand new shoe, but it's dirty. So that's kind of confusing to me, and maybe somebody will be able to tell me exactly what's going on. And the number 88, it was so distinct, just like I have it in this picture. And you know, number 88 has to do with number 47 now, with I think he erected 2 flagpoles at the White House, and they were both 88 feet. And even his text number is 88 something. And there's a lot of other 88 symbolism in the real world. Okay, so now I am going to give my commentary, and I'm able to only partially interpret this dream. Some of it is obviously so straightforward. I think I already have talked, or actually already interpreted it. But I'm sure there's other things I cannot, like washing off the shoes in the garden, I mean, cayenne pepper, all that. So please share in the comment section below what you think, or what your interpretation is, especially if you're good at interpreting dreams. Okay, the man of sin is the son of perdition, and is the abomination that causes desolation. This ceremony and ritual I saw was a formal confirmation, like I've said before. They have people earmarked for these positions, and they do not always pan out, obviously. But to me, this was a confirmation that he is the one who finally embodies Satan himself, also known as Apollo. So number 44 and number 47 are fully confirmed. The son of perdition again is a man of sin. He is Satan. He is Moloch. He is a horned god. He takes on different forms and disguises in different ages and for different functions and roles. He is going to be both the person and the thing. He's going to be both the person, I don't know how to say this, who does the thing. He's going to be both the person who is so hated, but also the person who does the thing that is so horrible, so hated, so detestable, so horrific in the house of, in God's temple. Okay, so at the time of this dream, he was in Italy, and Rome is in Italy, and Rome is the control center of deep Satanism and witchcraft. We all know that. The Vatican. And those doors that were opened by the Pope, I think that was last year, we know was the greater ritual of releasing these end-time demons. So it's my assessment based on this dream that he was there for this ritual. And this gentleman who was killed supposedly, I think that was part of the ritual of destruction in addition. So this CK, I don't want to say those names, was the ritual of destruction that served to distract as the Abomination of Desolation was being commissioned. But also I think this ritual was for the entire mission of installing or trying to install the one from UK. They're struggling to get the UK part installed or that person going. Let me see. Okay, what's next? So those children that I saw, it is clear to me that they were there for the Molochian sacrifice. Okay, they are getting aggressive, and the bigger the mission, the more blood they need, the more souls they sacrifice. And this has been going on for a long time, this ritualistic killing of children in order to please or appease a deity. And this is an extreme extension of the idea that the more important the object of sacrifice, the more devout the person rendering it. Okay, so that's pretty much it, but I will go through scriptures and definitions of keywords about this entity. Some of you may be familiar with this, but for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, thank you, and thank you really everybody for tuning in. This is to impress the seriousness of what time it is right now and what is coming our way. The scriptures are our survival manual. So Matthew 24:15, this is the whole scripture in context, but Matthew 24:15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So this is who is coming. He has been confirmed. And I can already hear a buzz around, people talking about, the Antichrist. People are talking about it already now. And things are getting crazy, as you can tell, especially in the Western world, they're hurrying up. And I need to do a video on number 47, with that mark on his hand. People are thinking, oh, is he sick? Or what is it? To me, that was a signal. He was signaling that everything is in place now. Move on to the next step. Okay, let's look at some of the provenance, some of his books and all that. So this war is, they will probably need a war to install him. Okay, so some sort of violence, some war will ensue first, so as to create the context to this or to his installation into notoriety again. The wars are for him. That is the sacrifice, the confusion, the mayhem. You know, the devil loves confusion and instability and pain and anger and anxiety. Okay? So even after the commissioning, he still requires a lot of sacrifice and energy for the implantation or the possession to fully take. And we know war is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, way to generate the chaos magic that they need. So what is desolation? Grief, sadness, loneliness, devastation, ruin. So that's just war. That's really, this is part and parcel of war. This entity's reign will be absolutely tragic, as these terms describe it. Okay, let's look at Daniel 11:31. Okay. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits, and return to his own land. At the time appointed he shall return, and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former or as the latter. For the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return, and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with him that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong, that is us, and will do exploits, will have superpowers. Okay, so now let's see. So this man shall return to his land with great riches. This man, number 44, claims rights to the land of Kenya by virtue of his father claiming the same. His father was from there. Okay, but there's also other deep web videos circulating of him clearly saying that he was born in Kenya. His land is the promised land that he wrote about. Okay, this is his father's dream. His father is Satan, who was kicked out. This is the reason the UN offices were moved to Kenya, and also why the Kenyan constitution mirrors the American constitution. They're like mirror images. And newsflash, Kenya and US is the two-state solution, but I'll do different videos if I get the chance about that. So what's happening is that while people are distracted by that 1948 state over there, with that synagogue of Satan, stuff is actually happening in the background, laying the framework for this entity. Yeah, a promised land, dreams from my father. Yeah, this is what he's been talking about all along. And here they say he will have intelligence with him. See, artificial intelligence, that's what they're talking about. Civilization and artificial intelligence is a mockery of God's perfected kingdom. Okay? Artificial general intelligence is what is now taking over. Okay, cyborgs and all these creatures. And by the way, cyborg Caesar Borgia, that was a cyborg. Let me see what else I have to tell you here. Daniel 2:32. This image, the head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. Okay, that's. He will have indignation against the Holy Covenant. Yeah, that there. What is that? This is the covenant between God and Israel on Mount Zion. So this occurred between God and his children, and even those who believe in him to be the true God. And he will seek to destroy that. And the sanctuary of strength, what is that? That is the new temple that is being constructed in Kenya. Let me see what else I have here. Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and the determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So obviously we know there'll be absolute lawlessness. The law of God will be trampled upon. They will seek to replace godliness with AI. You'll be forced to choose a side, so you'll either be with them or you're either with us or not with us. That was a famous saying by Bush, I think, when 9/11 happened, which was also another ritual for this. Okay, abomination, we already talked about it. You can pause and look at that. Consummation means many things, but it was revealed to me when I did the first Abomination of Desolation that at some time these entities will seek to have homosexual relations in the temple, and this will be the end of it. So not only will they be probably doing I don't know about this child sacrifices in there, but I know they will seek to have homosexual relations in the temple, and this will be the absolute end of it. Some more scriptures that talk about him. 2 Thessalonians 2:3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. This is the finisher. This is the terminator. And that movie, The Terminator, is rife with symbolism and foreshadows what they plan to do. This is the man of sin, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Okay, again, I want to put here this definition and synonyms. The man of perdition is literally the man of hell, because perdition is eternal damnation, it's hell. And look at the synonyms: underworld, Gehenna, Tartarus, the abyss, purgatory, Sheol, Hades, Inferno. So the man of perdition is the man from hell. So we're going to have hell on earth, basically. So just be prepared for that. So this Satan was kicked out because he wanted to be like God. He has never stopped trying to be like God. It's like a broken cord on a computer that just keeps on looping and looping and looping. There's something, I've told you this before, there's something autistic about these entities. They just will not stop. But again, they have no choice. They have nothing else to do. Their fate is already sealed. So Satan has the audacity to think and believe that he can still be like God. will never happen. He is a creation, yeah? He's just created by God. So he can never be God. But he is deluded. He has this fixed false belief that he can. These entities operate like robots, both literally and figuratively. And that is why they never stop. They cannot stop. That is their curse. He thinks he can be like God. He has the audacity to think that he can be like God. And we can see in this article, Obama is sort of God. Yeah. And I think I showed you this before. Let's see.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
Okay, so that is not a joke. He's literally telling us or putting out, publishing these intentions into the matrix, into the atmosphere. So whatever you say anything and it's not rebutted, it stands. And he did say it. That's the ritual, you have to put it out there so that it takes. And he did it, yeah? But there's that mockery because the God of Jacob can never be their refuge. You already kicked them out, This will be the beginning of sorrows when he's installed. But this is not to make people scared or hopeless, because like we saw, we'll be able to do exploits. People will have superpowers, like through the power of the living God. And we have those prayers like Psalm 91, which says, 1,000 shall fall at my side and 10,000 at my right hand, but it will not come nigh me. That's Psalm 91, verse 7. Verse 10 says, there shall no evil befall me, neither shall any plague come nigh my dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over me to keep me in all my ways. So we cannot have fear. There'll be sorrows, pestilence, disease, like the 19, remember that? War, hunger. But we need to put our trust in the living God. Okay, so there'll be war on Christians. And this is a whole other revelation that I was given. I know I've been gone, but I've gotten so many revelations. These wars will be led by the Hagarites. And if you remember, this was just, I was given a vision. Hagar was Ismail's mother. And the story doesn't end too well for her. So I'll do a video on that as well soon. Okay, let me talk about these three again. What about 47? Yeah, he's really playing John the Baptist that role, and his name is John as well, so he's preparing everything. He has a personality too. He's brash, is it brash? Abrasive, he doesn't care. So he's preparing the way, but he claims Christ, but we know it's just mockery because, no. What they're struggling to do is to get the third person in, because, and I'll tell you what happens, people, when we talk about these things and we rebuke them, we throw a wrench into their equation. They get stuck, and then they have to go back and start regrouping and figuring out what to do. When they came out with that cancer diagnosis for King Charles and Kate, they were supposed to be dead within 6 months, but they're still alive because, look, we need to rebuke these things once we know what's going on. And that throws a wrench into their equation. Okay, it stalls their plans. Now they have to regroup, so they're still struggling. We know that, because by now they should have had, these three people should be already in power. Okay, another thing I know, again, this was revealed to me. Let me see if I have the notes here. Oh, sorry guys, let me see. Oh, where is it? Well, there's something that's called a tetrarchy. What is a tetrarchy? The tetrarchy comes from Greek. It describes any form of government where power is divided among four individuals. The Judean tetrarchy was a set of four independent and distinct states where each tetrarch ruled a quarter of a kingdom as they saw fit. Okay, the first phase, sometimes referred to as a diarchy, involved the designation of the general as co-emperor. Okay, firstly a Caesar. Okay, so first 2 and then 4. So there's a form of government that was in Rome, and where there were 4 people ruling at the same time. And let me see, where are my notes? Okay, you can pause and read this and read it. This was established after Herod the Great. Where are my notes? Okay, I can't find my notes, sorry. So they're going to have, I think they're going to have 4 headquarters, or they're trying, that's why they have these 4 UN offices now established. We have New York, which is the main one. We have Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi. And I think that's laying ground for the tetrarch rulership. Because I think they're still trying to figure out how to get this thing going, because so many of us are awake, and also this is the end time, so it's not easy for them either. Anyway, I think this is what is going to happen. At some time they'll have these 4 people. If they can't get the 3, they're still trying to figure out how this all is going to work. Like I said, this one is stuck unless the father is taken out of the way, but the father may stay. These are entities that never die. These are the worms that never die. So he might stay, because I know the third person, his name has to be a name with a P, the letter P. And Charles Philip, so he has Philip in his name, just like his son William Arthur Philip. So if they can't get Charles out of the way, they've had all these rituals going, maybe he'll just stay, I don't know. And then the 4th person will be the Pope, that P again. But I think the Pope is going to be highly augmented, because this is going to be the absolute mockery of God, But in the end, this is going to be the main man. He's going to be the one who brings it all down. But these two, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. These two are working hand in hand, but in the end, this is the one who is the world leader. Okay, these people also are operating without authority, because they have no authority to operate on this earth. They're rebellious outlaws who obviously just cause havoc and destruction. Disorder is their currency. That's why they always have to create anything, war, false flag, anything, just to keep the chaos running. They're anarchists. Disorder, and so that's how it's easy for them to want to have the tetrarch. Look, they'll do anything just to disrupt the kingdom of God. Okay, this, we don't have to, these are warmongers, these are war people, these are men of war. They hate peace, they love disorder, they're anarchists. But we should not be moved, because this kingdom belongs, the true kingdom belongs to the Prince of Peace, the everlasting Father, the mighty God. And I'm just putting this here because some people are scared already. There's a lot of the buzz about the rapture, the tribulation. Look, God never does anything without revealing it to his saints. And the Bible is a manual that prescribes how we should live these end times, So we should not be scared. We should not be afraid. The worst thing you can possibly do is be scared. And that's where they want you. They want you scared. Do not be afraid. These are some verses and chapters you can read to encourage you to stay positive, to know that God will never leave you. He knows the end from the beginning, and he has provisions for us within the Bible. Okay, I'm coming to the end of this. So a commission is a formal authorization or command to act on behalf of someone else, often involving a specific task or duty. He is commissioned to act against the kingdom of Christ. Okay? Why the attack on Christ? Because Christ is God and the King of the universe. Satan is still trying to be God. Man, this will never quit. It's a war on Christians, obviously, because so long as you claim Christ, then you're confirming God's kingdom. So they will want you to denounce Christ, otherwise they will punish you for it. But here I have these quotes from the number 44, where he says, even those who claim the Bible's inerrancy make distinctions between scriptural edicts, sensing that some passages, the Ten Commandments, say or a belief in Christ's divinity are central to Christian faith, while others are more culturally specific and may be modified to accommodate modern life. No. The Ten Commandments, central. The covenants, absolutely central. Christ's divinity, that is the pillar of truth. This is another quote from him. In our household, the Bible, the Quran, and the Bhagavad Gita sat on the shelf alongside books of Greek and Norse and African mythology. Yeah, we can't have that. We cannot have that. There's only one true living God. We cannot have the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Greek and Norse mythology, the African mythology, the African mythology. People confound this, like, oh, as Africans, that's... No. A lot of Africans are worshipping, are in witchcraft, which is satanic. And I'm just saying that because I'm an African and I see what goes on. But the Bible is inerrant. They have edited the Bibles, like the Bible that they swear on is not the true Bible. They have Bibles where they've taken, like I think the Aquarius Bible, where they've taken out Christ, the name of Christ, or Jesus is not there. The Muslims don't think Christ is divine. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't acknowledge Christ. The Greek, they don't like Christ. This is, let's see what he says here.
In my first term, we ended the war in Iraq. In my second term, I will win the war on Christmas.
So war on Christmas is war on Christians. We're not going to argue about the legitimacy of the day itself, but we know that Christ was born of a human woman. And yes, there's a date when he was born, and they're fighting that. Here, let's hear him talk about man.
In my first term, we repealed the policy known as don't ask, don't tell. Wait though.
This is how
in my second term, we will replace it with a policy known as it's raining men.
Not only is he not kidding, but this is how he looked in that vision, in that dream that I saw. Just like that. But the background was like it was a modern place, like white and gray. So the consummation, like I said, in the temple will be an act of homosexual sex. Is that even a correct term? I don't know. Let's see. I guess that's it. Yes, Christ is King. Please, if you have had a similar dream or if anything in this dream jogs your memory, please share in the comment section or email me. There were other people in the room observing that ritual. I do not know those people in real life, but I believe God is letting us know, and I hope these people can come forward to corroborate this dream. If you have different interpretation of the dream, please share that too. And I have had several dreams about number 44, and they are always adversarial. The dreams I have about this man, which are many, are always adversarial. I've never had like a positive dream about him. And I know he hates the name Jesus for a fact. He absolutely hates that name. And aside from the dreams, I told you somebody physically approached me and told me before he even became famous, when he was starting, he told me that is Satan. So yes, we must remember that as children of God, we have power through the blood of the Lamb that was slain on the cross, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Okay, that is our power. Thank you so much for watching. I know I was all over the place, but I hope it makes sense to you. Questions, comments, suggestions are always welcome. If this resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Please share this. Remember, all is truth. There can only be truth. Everything else is a distraction. Do not be distracted. Thank you.